Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, 3 people are now facing charges for the murder of a man in Washington County.
Plus, emergency officials say they're getting an alarming number of missed dials from iPhone users.
And Acadia National Park is testing electric buses as a way to help the environment.
Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Emma Smith.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning on this Thursday morning, almost to the end of the work week. We'll have those stories coming up along with all the day's news. But first, a check of the forecast. Looks like another nice sunny day out there. But first, we have to get through some areas of fog, a little dense in areas this morning. So as you're heading out today, you may want to take it a little easy because it is quite foggy in some areas.
Here's Devin Biggs with the forecast.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes. Need the proper fit or experiencing foot pain? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here's the issue out there this morning. Areas of dense fog developing in a few spots just south of Caribou and also in parts of Washington County. In fact, including Caribou as well, and also including parts of Bangor and areas to the west. So keep that in mind as you're traveling this morning. Some areas of dense fog may make it tricky to travel from time to time. Otherwise, though, the radar and satellites looking pretty good. There's no organized cloud cover aloft, so all the sunshine that we're seeing today will help to burn that fog off very fast. As we do zoom things out, look at the picture right now. We have high pressure right over us, keeping an area low pressure to the south and also to the west. So we're staying very dry and no precipitation in sight for the next several days. Futurecast for today, a beautiful day filled with lots of sunshine. Maybe a few passing clouds later on tonight, but more areas of dense fog will also be on the way as we head towards early Friday morning. The wind, not too bad at all, remaining rather calm overall, though if not maybe a light breeze at around 5 miles per hour or less, but the wind will behave itself as you do move forward. So for today, though, mid-70s, mostly sunny, and that northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, mid-40s, partly cloudy, areas of dense fog on the way, and that south breeze getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, a lot of sunshine, temperatures warming into the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Emma.
All right, thank you, Devin. We'll look forward to that. In today's news, some long-awaited progress in a 6-year-old homicide investigation. 3 people have been arrested in connection with the murder of 48-year-old Wayne Foss back in 2017. The Maine Department of Public Safety says it started when investigators with the State Fire Marshal's office were called to a structure fire in Whitneyville in the early morning hours of October 28, 2017. A body was discovered in the burned-out home, and the victim was later identified as the homeowner, Wayne Foss. His death was ruled a homicide, but despite an intensive investigation, his case remained unsolved until now. On September 21st, state police arrested 33-year-old Justin Meadows, formerly of Pembroke. He was taken to the Washington County Jail. Then on Wednesday, Leanza Bonney was arrested at his Staten Island, New York home by U.S. Marshals. He is in jail in Queens, awaiting extradition to Maine. 27-year-old Basilio Lorenzo, also from New York, is currently incarcerated in the Maine State Prison on an unrelated charge. All 3 are now charged with murder, arson, and robbery.
A 4-year-old boy is expected to make a full recovery after he went missing and wandered into a pool. Police responded to the incident in Hamden on Monday after receiving reports that the child was missing from the Highland Preschool on Kennebec Road. According to Hamden Police Chief Christian Bailey, the child wandered away from the back of the preschool into a pool in the yard next door. Chief Bailey says the child sustained serious injuries and received medical attention on the scene before being transported to the Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center. Last night, Chief Bailey reports the boy was expected to make a full recovery. Police are still investigating the circumstances of this incident.
A Skowhegan jury found a Pittsfield woman guilty in connection with an inappropriate relationship with a minor last year. 39-year-old Davina Petchonka and 40-year-old Charles Frost were both indicted in May on sexual assault charges involving children. Authorities say one of the alleged victims was under 18 and another under 14 years old. According to the Somerset County Assistant District Attorney Frank Griffin, Petchonka was instead found guilty on the charge of incest. She was found not guilty of the charge of gross sexual assault. Petchonka was sentenced to 320 days or 10 months in the Somerset County Jail.
A tractor trailer collided with a bridge in Westbrook on Wednesday, closing down Brown Street for several hours. The bridge height is 11.5 feet, and that was not enough not tall enough for the tractor trailer to pass under. Area residents say this isn't the first collision with the bridge. Just a few months ago, a box truck scraped its roof trying to make its way through.
I was eating lunch and heard this very loud noise and came out, and that was what I saw. And it's not the first time that we've had trucks there. It happens. I think they just need better signage. That might help.
The driver told authorities he was following a map that didn't show the bridge. But it is worth noting there is a sign with the bridge's height displayed about 300 feet before the bridge.
That's quite a mess there. Well, meanwhile, the Penobscot County Grand Jury has indicted a Holden man who was allegedly involved in a hit-and-run crash. 51-year-old David McKenzie was indicted on charges of criminal OUI, aggravated assault, and leaving the scene of an accident involving serious bodily injury. The crash happened on July 15th in Brewer. Police found McKenzie at his home in Holden on July 19th. 87-year-old Ira Williams was injured in that crash. Also, a man who allegedly attempted to outrun police in a stolen vehicle was also indicted on several charges. Police say 20-year-old Dylan Baker stole the car after officers responded to reports of a person acting erratically on Route 2 in Carmel. During the chase, Baker allegedly hit a police cruiser in that stolen car. Baker is now indicted for a variety of charges, including robbery, theft by unauthorized taking, aggravated criminal mischief, reckless conduct with a dangerous weapon, and also driving to endanger. Finally, the caretaker of the woman who allegedly left her patient in a Bangor casino was also indicted. The nonverbal adult woman was found in the casino lobby back in March. 60-year-old Tammy Knowlton of Troy was indicted for endangering the welfare of a dependent person.
If you own a newer iPhone, you may still be learning about its various features. However, one of those new features is receiving some criticism from law enforcement for automatically dialing 911. Our Matthew Durantzik has the story.
New technology most of the time is an improvement from ideas put into action from its predecessor. And when it comes to the Apple iPhone, they've had over 20 versions of the phone itself, with upgrades and software seeming being uploaded every time you look. One of Apple's newest features on its iPhone 14 and 15 along with the Apple Watch connects you with emergency services when it detects a car crash. On face value, seems like a great idea, but for some first responders, it's just adding unwanted misdialed calls into dispatchers.
We've had several calls recently where the phone believes you've been in a car crash. And most of them are actually people throwing their phone into their car, closing the door and walking away.
When a severe car crash is detected, your iPhone or Apple Watch sounds an alarm and displays an alert. If you're unable to respond, your device automatically calls emergency services after 20 seconds. Officer Dugas shared an encounter he had with this feature last weekend.
iPhone dialed 911, said that the subscriber was involved in a crash and couldn't respond. I was dispatched along with fire and EMS to the area and did not find a car crash. I was actually flagged down by someone who told me that they were chasing a loose dog and the phone fell out of the owner's pocket and hit the road.
This is something that Officer Dugas doesn't want people to be scared of. He wants to make sure that people are more educated on this feature.
We just want people aware that that function is on there and that they may inadvertently dial 911 by doing that.
A tip for those who own these Apple products, if you drop your phone or watch, be sure that it's not dialing 911. If it is, be sure to stay on the line and tell the dispatcher that it's not an emergency. Matthew Durantzik, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
Got to watch out for that. I do that every now and then. I don't have that feature on my phone, but something happens, I'll look down and it's like getting ready to call 911 or something. So,
right, you just swiped left or something.
Yeah.
Well, it's just an emergency dial, and then you have to swipe again to do that. That can happen if you just have it in your pocket or something and it presses the side button. So, just fiddle around with it and ask somebody for help.
Yeah, and if you do accidentally make the call, like they said, stay on the line, just talk to the dispatcher, tell them everything's okay.
Right.
That way they don't send the whole cavalry out there to look for you.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. All right, the time now is 6:09. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, thousands of people will soon have to start repaying their student loans. We'll hear advice from experts to make it easier.
But first, another check of that weather forecast. Mostly sunny weather today with a high near 75 degrees, a near perfect day. Partly cloudy with areas of fog overnight, lows dropping down to the mid-40s. Tomorrow, a few more clouds. It will be partly cloudy on your Friday with a high near 71.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the sparks that unite us, to the passions that drive us. We're driven by the things we love. From the visions that lead us, the feelings that inspire us, to the roads that bring us together. Coastal Auto Parts, 29 locations in Maine, will get you to the moments that matter most. With the largest network of parts and care to keep you firing on all cylinders. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
When visiting Maine, there are a few must-dos. Be a foodie. Relax on the water. Share your experiences. And start a shopping adventure at one of 17 Rennie's locations throughout Maine.
Rennie's, a Maine adventure. Little bit of sunshine.
Good morning, America.
So you wanted to get all dolled up.
Right.
You go in and you say you want to get the works, right? And you didn't like this.
No.
She was happy. We have pictures of her walking out the door, grinning, scanning.
That's a big smile.
Hot Bench. Thursday at 3 on ABC 7.
1 month after their groundbreaking ceremony, Nickerson and O'Day is laying the foundation for what will soon be the Penobscot Nation Community Center. The Community Center on Indian Island will hold the tribal administration, museum, finance offices, and much more. Project manager Parker Walker says construction will be unique since similar structures nowadays are made from steel, whereas this structure will be primarily made out of wood. Walker says he and the rest of his crew are fortunate to be working alongside the Penobscot Nation community.
It really feels good to be working over here. We're local. We haven't had a lot of local jobs over the last few years because we've spread out. So being somewhere close with a nice, tight-knit community has been great.
Walker says the exterior of the building will be done by December. That's when he and his crew will move inside and start working on the interior. He says that the community center is scheduled to be completed by this time next year.
Acadia National Park is known for offering bus services that take visitors all over the park. Well, now they're taking their first step away from fossil fuels. Our Grace Blanchard explains.
Acadia National Park has introduced a new pilot project that is exploring if electric buses are the future of the park's transportation system.
Ultimately, we're just looking to learn more about what electric buses would look like here in Acadia National Park.
There are currently 32 propane-powered buses that take guests around the Island Explorer route daily, and for the past 2 weeks they have added an electric bus to the route.
So in the next 6 to 10 years, we're going to have to replace some of our propane buses. So by doing this pilot, we're just hoping to learn a little bit more to see what might be possible.
The buses transport over 500,000 people each year across Acadia, and a switch to electric would have a major impact on the environment.
For 20 years, we've operated propane-powered buses, and we're keenly aware that we will eventually need to move away from fossil fuels.
Love the new bus. The park has been conducting demos and tests on 2 buses to evaluate how they handle Acadia's terrain.
We ran a bus up from the Village Green in Bar Harbor, up Cadillac, and back last week, and it took about 3% of the battery's charge.
Many guests say the bus services are vital to navigating the park.
The traffic and parking was atrocious. So when we came back to hike this afternoon, I said, we're definitely going to take the bus.
The park is still in the early phases of testing, but park officials say this is just the first step towards a more environmentally friendly system.
Excited to see what the information tells us about the future of electric buses in Acadia.
In Bar Harbor, Grace Blanchard for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
For the first time in more than 3 years, federal student loan borrowers will be required to make monthly payments. Our David Ledford spoke with financial experts about what to expect.
Federal student loan pause has been in effect since the start of the pandemic. In October, less than a week, that pause will expire and borrowers will need to begin making payments. According to the Finance Authority of Maine, or FAME, a number of Mainers will be making those payments for the first time.
We believe that there are about 190,000 Maine federal loan borrowers who are in repayment. There are some borrowers who left school who've never made a student loan payment.
The automatic knee-jerk reaction is to think, oh my goodness, I have to pay all of these loans back, and this is too daunting for me. And realizing that it's not as scary as you think is really important. My advice would be to not avoid seeing how much you owe, what types of loans you have.
For borrowers entering repayment for the first time, FAME representatives say there are important steps to follow to stay on top of payments and to stay informed.
They need to know who their federal student loan servicer is. Their servicer may have changed since the payment pause. They should create an online account with their servicer and make sure that their contact information is current and up to date, looking at their monthly budget and making a plan.
There are several resources available for those struggling to make payments, including the SAVE Plan, a new federal income-driven repayment plan that can lower monthly loan payments for borrowers who qualify.
They can select a new repayment plan. There are new plans available that make student loans more affordable. For example, the SAVE repayment plan. If they find themselves in a situation that they can't afford their monthly payment, they can select a new repayment plan.
Visit studentaid.gov to learn more about the SAVE plan and other repayment options. In Orono, David Ledford, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
All right, the time now is 6:16. After the break, over 40 teachers and students signed up to give blood at a drive that was organized by a student yesterday in Old Town.
We'll check out that as well as your full weather forecast when Good Morning Maine continues.
When outdoors, some people like it hot and some people like it cold. However, when indoors, most people like it comfortably warm. Choose a Boderas boiler from McCusick Petroleum Company to provide you with comfortable and efficient heat. They also offer sales and service on many brands of furnaces, boilers, and water heaters. McCusick Petroleum Company delivers oil and LP gas to homes and businesses throughout the Pequot region. If you'd like more information on pricing or service, call or stop by our office in Dover Foxcroft.
What can I get everyone?
The usual for all of us?
Actually, I'll do the special.
Great choice.
Wow, the special? Look at you.
Switch it up sometimes, you know.
I got 4 vodka sodas and 1 Maine blueberry mojito. So, who ordered the special? I'll grab a few more.
It's time to try something new. For more cocktail inspiration, download the Maine Spirits.
A group of high schoolers organized and hosted a very successful blood drive amid a national shortage. Devin Dagnall takes us there.
Over 40 of Old Town High School's teachers and students signed up to donate blood at the school's first drive of the year, which was organized by a student.
In a way, it's kind of my job, but I also like doing it, so.
That's Kylie Murray. She's part of Old Town's JROTC, and one of her responsibilities this year was organizing the blood drive. She says it started a little rocky, but she eventually got her feet under her.
Well, I came in the first day. I didn't really know what to do yet, and they were like, hey, you got to plan this. It's in a few weeks. So I was really nervous, and then we ended up getting all the sign-ups, and we got a ton of students helping, and so I'm really excited. I think it's going to be great.
This drive comes at the perfect time because there is a national shortage of blood and plasma, the likes of which haven't been seen in over a year.
Unfortunately, over the summer months, not enough folks came out to give blood. Blood is a perishable product. It only lasts so long, and we just don't have enough blood on the shelf.
The executive director of the Red Cross of Northern and Eastern Maine, Caroline King, says the need for blood isn't near crisis level yet, but people should consider donating before it gets worse. The good news is donating blood has never been easier. All of the information you could possibly need can be found at redcrossblood.org.
One-stop shopping. You can find out if you're eligible, you can make an appointment to give blood, you can find out where there's a blood drive near you.
If you're still on the fence about donating, Old Town senior and 3-time blood donor Alex O'Mara has some sage words of wisdom for you.
I'd just say send it.
Send it?
Send it.
In Old Town, Devin Dagnall, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
So important, you never know when you or somebody you know might need a blood donation yourself. So
I like the
consider.
last donor's suggestion too. Just send it.
Just send it.
Don't think about
Yeah.
it too much.
No,
if you can, you should.
no big deal.
Yeah.
I saw Devin a little while ago, by the way. He's heading to Eastport at this hour later on this morning. We're expecting to have a live report from Devin where they're having the USS Augusta is on display. We'll be hearing all about that and a big celebration that will be held this Saturday. So stick around for that.
Yeah, they're not really sure exactly when the hours for tours will be open on Saturday. For today and tomorrow at least, 1 to 4. So if you're making it to Eastport today to go on a tour of a very cool nationally acclaimed ship, 1 to 4.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, the time now is 6:20.
Let's check out our full weather forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes. Need the proper fit or experiencing foot pain? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Already, areas of dense fog developing out there this morning near parts of Bangor, Waterville, and Augusta, and also areas off to the north and west. We're also including parts of Caribou and areas to the south, also including parts of Washington County. Please make sure to take it slow this morning as you do travel. Some good news to report, though. Lots of sunshine will be expected today. There's no clouds overhead, no precipitation either. We have high pressure to thank for that, though, as we do zoom things out with high pressure right nearby. We also have more areas of low pressure down to the south and west and well down to the south as well. With this high pressure center not moving all that much, we will stay dry for the next several days with no precipitation on the way. But otherwise, a beautiful stretch on the way with a lot of sunshine. Get outside, enjoy it. We will have some clouds on the way later on tonight, though, along with some areas of dense fog yet again. The good news, we'll have some sunshine to burn that fog off as we head towards your Friday with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Maybe a few more clouds on the way as we head towards Friday night and parts of Saturday morning, but overall, looking pretty good as we do move forward. Average high temperature is 66 degrees. We'll do the mid-70s today before we fall into the low 70s Friday, back in the mid-70s Saturday, upper 70s Sunday, back in the mid-70s again Monday, Tuesday, and also near Wednesday, well above normal for this time of the year. Fall foliage, let's check this out, though. Leaves are really changing, though, with 50 to 75% colors already near Bangor, Ellsworth, and Greenville. Millinocket still 25 to 45% coverage, but it will be changing pretty quickly as we do move forward. So let's get outside and enjoy that fall foliage. But mid-70s today, a beautiful day out there with a lot of sunshine. The northwest breeze getting up to around 5 miles per hour or so. Later on tonight, partly cloudy, not bad. Maybe some areas of dense fog yet again. Keep that in mind for tomorrow morning with lows in the mid-40s and south wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, lower 70s on the way with a partly cloudy sky, and that south breeze getting up to around 5 miles per hour or so. Alrighty, here is looking at extended forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes, and we're looking dry. Partly cloudy on Saturday with highs in the mid-70s, upper 70s on Sunday with a mostly sunny sky, partly cloudy for the day on Monday with highs in the mid-70s.
Join us every Friday this season as we celebrate the return to the gridiron with the most highlights, reaction, and analysis of your favorite teams. Catch Sports Blitz Friday at 11 on ABC 7. Sports Blitz brought to you by Coastal Auto Parts, your local Napa Auto Parts dealer with 29 locations, owned and operated by a Maine family that cares. And by Dorsey Furniture, Route 1A Holden, where you'll find furniture that's in stock and ready for delivery.
Oscar winner, innovator, superstar, super mom. And now this morning on GMA, Reese Witherspoon, live right here with the new project super close to her heart.
I love it.
Plus this morning, 2 sharks swim into GMA Live.
Ventilators, IV equipment, incubators in the NICU. Every room here is filled with life-saving medical equipment that relies on electricity. But question 3 would cost Mainers $13.5 billion and put our electricity in the hands of politicians. Politicians who pocket money from oil and gas companies. I wouldn't put a politician in charge of all of this. The stakes are just too high to trust them. Question 3 is a risk Mainers can't afford.
Planning to dig in your yard with power tools? Call DigSafe first. Call 811 at least 3 business days before you dig. Utility crews will come out and mark where your gas, power, and cable lines are buried. Keep yourself and your neighborhood safe. It's the law.
It was like 8 o'clock, and Rick's not home yet. I called his phone, and there was no answer. My front doorbell rings. I knew the minute I heard the doorbell what was on the other side. They knew that Rick was driving 8 miles an hour, and the brakes were engaged, and the person that rear-ended him just wasn't paying attention. Unless you're looking straight ahead, everything else you do is distracted driving. If this could help one family, time well spent. Nobody should have that knock on the door.
There's one number you need to know. It's called Joe.
Welcome back, everyone. The fiery second Republican debate of the 2024 presidential primary is now in the books. The 7 candidates on stage going head-to-head, some notably taking aim at GOP frontrunner Donald Trump, who again chose not to show up. ABC's M. Wynn has more from Washington.
Contentious moments and a frenzy of attacks at the second Republican primary debate in Simi Valley, California last night. In a heated war of words, presidential candidates Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy sparred over TikTok after the latter had once called it digital fentanyl.
Part of how we win elections is reaching the next generation of young Americans where they are.
TikTok is one of the most dangerous social media apps that we could have. And what you've got, I honestly, every time I hear you, I feel a little bit dumber for what you say.
The 7 GOP candidates on stage wasted no time going after President Biden's economic policies.
The reason why people are striking in Detroit is because Joe Biden's interference with capital markets and with free markets.
He belongs on the unemployment line.
They also squared off on hot-button issues like border security.
We're going to declare it a national emergency. Yes, we'll build the wall. We'll do remain in Mexico. But those Mexican drug cartels are going to be treated like the foreign terrorist organizations that they are.
And the 14th Amendment.
I favor ending birthright citizenship for the kids of illegal immigrants in this country.
It was certainly written as it relates to slavery, not as it relates to illegal immigration.
Candidates taking aim at former President Trump, who skipped the event again and instead met with auto workers at a non-union plant in Michigan.
You're ducking these things. You keep doing that, no one up here is going to call you Donald Trump anymore. We're going to call you Donald Duck.
But the GOP frontrunner took to social media to call the former New Jersey governor a bum, and his team calling the debate boring and inconsequential. Our political analysts say the 2 strongest performances were from Nikki Haley and Tim Scott. Meanwhile, the 3rd presidential debate is set for November 8th in Miami, and former President Trump is already indicating he'll skip it too. M. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
This morning, bracing for a government shutdown. If lawmakers are unable to reach an agreement on funding, the shutdown would begin at midnight on October 1st. ABC News contributing political correspondent Rachel Bade looks at the potential human cost of the spending fight.
This week, Congress in the midst of another self-inflicted crisis, one that could inflict financial and emotional pain on millions of Americans absent an 11th-hour deal. For some elected officials, the looming government shutdown is a political game of chicken, an opportunity to cater to their constituents and win concessions from the other party. This time, House Republicans demanding steep spending cuts and a U.S.-Mexico border crackdown to leave the lights on. But for Willie Joe Price, a cafeteria worker in the Library of Congress, it's a missed paycheck, one that threatens her ability to pay her bills.
People just like me. It's a lot out here just like me. Living paycheck to paycheck and can't afford to do anything, you know, and then the government shut down. And like I say, the government will go back and they're going to get paid. We're not going to get anything.
Price is far from alone. Starting at 12:01 a.m. on October 1st, as many as 4 million federal workers could be furloughed without pay. 1.3 million active duty military service members, as well as law enforcement officials and TSA agents, will be asked to show up at their posts despite their salaries being frozen.
Employees now live paycheck to paycheck. So one missed check can affect them in many different ways, from childcare to whether or not they have gas to go to work, to and from work, having a lunch.
National parks and passport offices inside federal buildings could close. New clinical trials for cancer and other life-saving research could be delayed, and travelers could see potential disruptions at the airport as air traffic controllers, already short-staffed, feel the squeeze even more. As the clock ticks down, federal employees infuriated at lawmakers for playing recklessly with their livelihoods.
I just can't believe we're going down this road again. This should never even become an issue that our military families have to worry about a paycheck.
The fiscal face-off coming as the nation is grappling with inflation. Meanwhile, here in the nation's capital, lawmakers still receiving a nearly $175,000 taxpayer-funded salary, despite failing to do Congress's most basic duty laid out in the Constitution: fund the government.
During the last government shutdown in 2018, images of unpaid federal workers standing in line at food banks infuriated the nation and eventually led former President Donald Trump to cave on his border wall demands and reopen the government. Now, many are hopeful that it will not come to this point this time around, but given the gridlock we see in Washington right now, it's increasingly likely.
Well, in other news, the suspect in the Gilgo Beach murders appears in court on Wednesday. Rex Heuermann appeared at the pretrial conference next to his attorney. He's charged with murdering 3 sex workers in their 20s who were found dead wrapped up in burlap on or near Gilgo Beach on Long Island. Heuermann is a suspect in another murder of a body discovered in the same area. The Suffolk County District Attorney has turned over DNA evidence to the defense. Heuermann's lawyer says there is still massive amounts of evidence to be sent over and analyzed by the defense. Heuermann has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges.
Researchers say there's been a dramatic loss of Antarctic sea ice this year, sparking worries about warming ocean temperatures. Scientists at the National Snow and Ice Data Center say the ice on the southern pole hit an all-time low this peak season. The last record for the smallest ice cover was set back in 1986. The difference between today and the previous record is substantial, equaling at least the area of Texas and Arizona combined. The diminishing ice contributes to fears that it is likely a sign of a larger warming trend. That is worrisome to scientists because ice at the poles reflects solar heat back to space. But if the ice melts, more of that heat will be absorbed by the ocean, causing a cycle of warming.
Not a good situation at all.
Not at all. Okay, coming up on the second half of the newscast, Maine's oldest domestic violence resource center will soon be holding a gala to commemorate their 50th anniversary.
We'll hear from the executive director of Partners for Peace in regards to that event as Good Morning Maine continues.
If you're a licensed technician and ready to get back to work or make the switch to a rewarding career, then look no further because Ray Plumbing and Heating is hiring and ready to add you to their family today. For more information, visit rayplumbing.com.
Rennie's, a Maine adventure.
We've got everything you need at Rennie's to get your yard all taken care of. In fact, John and Adam are going to my house to rake my leaves. You get to Rennie's.
Thank you for shopping locally.
At the end of the day, that's what we do this for, is to watch the next generation blossom.
I would much rather be here than sitting at a desk and on a computer.
Women in today's world can do this.
Newton will drop off one of his daughters to pick up maybe a tractor that we've been working on. They hop right in it. You can just tell it's not their first rodeo.
As we've moved forward, we've looked at where can we get the most bang for our buck on the technology side. Deere is just a leader.
Experience United, your local John Deere dealer.
Mesothelioma is more than a ravaging illness. It is a disease that can ruin a family's finances and is never the victim's fault. The law offices of Joe Bornstein has been fighting and winning for Maine families for nearly 50 years, and we've collected over $500 million for injured Mainers. If you or a loved one is a victim of mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, call Joe today for a free case evaluation and to learn about your family's legal rights. Dial 207-CALL-JOE or online at joebornstein.com.
Goose River Farm and Meat Store is conveniently located on Route 3 across from Hammond Lumber in Belfast. They have a wide selection of meat and poultry, including beef, pork, lamb, chicken, duck, rabbit, and turkey. Buy your steak and meats for grilling this summer.
If you're a licensed technician and ready to get back to work or make the switch to a rewarding career, then look no further because Ray Plumbing and Heating is hiring and ready to add you to their family today. For more information, visit rayplumbing.com.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today is Thursday, September 28th, 2023. There are just 94 days left in the year. We don't do that very often, but it just kind of tells me that Christmas is coming. I need to start thinking about that.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, it's
Good
also
point.
National Good Neighbor Day.
Created in the 1970s, this day acknowledges and celebrates the importance of being a good neighbor. They watch out for each other, lend a helping hand, and are there for advice when asked. They're also handy when you run out of sugar. Simply put, being a good neighbor yourself makes good neighbors, and you might just wind up with a lifelong friendship. We were just talking about this the other day.
I grew up in one of those neighborhoods where everybody knew each other, and all the parents kind of helped parent everybody's kids. And it was kind of neat. I'm trying to do that in my own neighborhood now, but it's you don't see that as often. People are so busy doing their own thing.
Right.
But,
And it can be hard too when if you're surrounded by renters and you're a renter yourself, and everybody kind of leaves and goes.
Yeah.
But it's still a good thing to do. And saying hi.
And
being
again,
friendly.
you might end up with some neat friends in the
Yeah.
process too. If you don't like that day, it's also National Drink Beer Day.
Nice.
So you can go drink beer with your neighbor if you want.
I like how there's a National Beer Day, and then there's just to further prove the point, go drink beer day.
Right. Yeah.
You can combine the days, though. That's cool.
All right, on this day in history, back in 1781, American forces in the Revolutionary War began their successful siege of Yorktown, Virginia, with help from the French fleet. In 1924, 3 Army planes landed in Seattle after completing the first round-the-world trip by air. It took them 175 days. In 1928, Scottish medical researcher Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. It turned out to be the world's first effective antibiotic.
In 1990, the first Game Boy handheld video game was released, and in 1995, Israelis and Palestinians signed a historic accord at the White House ending Israel's occupation of the West Bank and laying the foundation for the Palestinian state. Today's birthdays include actress Hilary Duff, she turns 36 today, actress Naomi Watts is 56, and country singer Karen Fairchild from Little Big Town is 54.
I like Little Big Town.
Yeah.
They have some good tunes. The pontoon boat one, I think that's one of my favorite ones.
You'll have to show me that. I haven't heard of this.
Yeah, it's a good tune.
Cool.
Hilary Duff, I hear, is going to make a return as Lizzie McGuire, too.
Cool.
I think they're making a movie or something.
Cool. That'll be a lot of nostalgia for a lot of folks.
I remember my daughter loved watching it.
Yeah.
All right, as far as the weather is concerned, again, it looks like another beautiful sunny day today.
Another one.
Yeah.
Here's Devin Banks.
And thank you very much, Craig and Emma. Happy Thursday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes. Need the proper fit or experiencing foot pain? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Alrighty, here's the issue out there this morning. Areas of dense fog developing in a few spots just south of Caribou and also in parts of Washington County. In fact, including Caribou as well. And also including parts of Bangor and areas to the west. So keep that in mind as you're traveling this morning. Some areas of dense fog may make it tricky to travel from time to time. Otherwise, though, the radar and satellites looking pretty good. There's no organized cloud cover aloft. So all the sunshine that we're seeing today will help to burn that fog off very fast. As we do zoom things out, look at the picture right now. We have high pressure right over us, keeping an area of low pressure to the south and also to the west. So we're staying very dry and no precipitation in sight for the next several days. Futurecast for today, a beautiful day filled with lots of sunshine. Maybe a few passing clouds later on tonight, but more areas of dense fog will also be on the way as we head towards early Friday morning. The wind, not too bad at all, remaining rather calm overall, though, if not maybe a light breeze at around 5 miles per hour or less, but the wind will behave itself as you do move forward. So for today, though, mid-70s, mostly sunny, and that northwest wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Later on tonight, mid-40s, partly cloudy, areas of dense fog on the way, and that south breeze getting up to about 5 miles per hour. Hourly forecast for the rest of the morning and afternoon period, a lot of sunshine, temperatures warming into the 70s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Emma.
Thank you, Devin. It was 50 years ago when Partners for Peace became the first domestic violence resource center in Maine.
On October 6th, a gala at Cross Insurance Center.
Gala.
Gala?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've called it both. Will bring together those from the organization and their supporters to recognize the progress made toward addressing violence in intimate relationships. Doug Banks has the story.
If you ring Partners for Peace's door, you'll find embrace, community, peace, and hope.
We provide temporary and emergency shelter for individuals needing a safe place to be. We do a lot of community-based education and awareness events to help the community better understand what domestic violence is what their part is in ending it and helping people who are going through it.
Being the first in Maine and third in the country, they say a lot has changed in 50 years. One of the biggest changes is the language surrounding domestic violence.
We can name it. We have language for what abuse and violence is, and now we have organizations that are set up to respond to it. We've made a lot of progress when it comes to laws and how people recognize violence as a crime now. And in years past, that was not the case.
Cost also says more resources are now being devoted to helping survivors.
There's been specific funding that's been designated to support organizations like ours, and that has been as a result of the progress that we've made here in the state of Maine.
One purpose of the gala is to bring people together, to share stories and reflect, but also to make a promise to one another, to keep moving forward, and to always look towards the horizon.
We've been describing this as a bittersweet celebration because we're here because of the harm that people have experienced. And we're grateful that we're here, and we know that it comes at a cost. I mean, people's lives have been permanently changed as a result of the abuse and violence that they've experienced, and at the same time, being a part of our organization has saved lives.
The gala won't just be a celebration of their work, but a means of forwarding it through fundraising.
The best part is looking out at the sea of people, knowing that they're here to support the greater mission of the organization.
For more information about the gala and the work Partners for Peace does, please visit our website. In Bangor, Doug Banks, ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
So I volunteer at Partners for Peace, and they're really gearing up. This is their major fundraising event for the year. So they're really hoping people come out in droves. Of course, with these fundraising events, sometimes it's just lucky if you break even.
Yeah, being a nonprofit too, they rely on these things just to keep all those good services coming.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm planning on going. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Still to come here this morning, Tyler Cruz will have the latest with sports.
Don't go away.
Tomorrow morning on Star 97.7, Paul Dupuis has the music and fun. Sonny Shepard brings you Star 97.7 local news, and Steve McKay with the weather. Turn on your radio and get the Star treatment with Star 97.7.
With Chevy Silverado and Silverado HD, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. With the power of up to 36,000 pounds of max available towing and the confidence of an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. Whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado for you. Get 3.9% financing for 72 months on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups, or current Chevy owners get $5,000 total cash allowance on this Silverado with the Turbo Max engine. Visit your Maine Chevy dealer.
Whether you're thinking of getting your first tattoo or building onto your collection of skin art,
Disconnected Tattoo and Art Company in Ellsworth provides the safest and most comfortable tattoo and piercing experience.
at Disconnected Tattoo, we'll combine your vision with our art to create something special that will last the test of time.
Don't trust your personal body art to anyone else.
Call Disconnected Tattoo today to schedule your consultation.
Or check out our Facebook page.
Disconnected Tattoo and Art Company in Ellsworth.
Tomorrow morning on Star 97.7, Paul Dupuis has the music and fun. Sonny Shepard brings you Star 97.7 local news, and Steve McKay with the weather. Turn on your radio and get the Star treatment with Star 97.7.
All the nonsense
Fibber.
meets no nonsense.
I don't buy it.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 5 on ABC7.
Hey everybody, Ryan Sudol here. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start with some basketball. Former state champ and Gatorade Player of the Year Bryce Lossier is back in Maine and will be playing with the Black Bears this season. Lossier graduated from Hamden Academy in 2020, winning a state championship with the Broncos that year before committing to Division II St. Anselm's with a full scholarship. After a few seasons there, Lossier enrolled at UMaine as a student beginning last January. Without really having a conversation with Coach Markwood, he says it was really a bet on yourself situation, and it's safe to say it worked out.
I went through a lot of adversity in my first 3 years of college. I learned a lot about myself as an individual, and I mean, this really allowed me to grow as a person. And I can't wait to wear the blue and white and represent my home state. Something I always wanted to do. I believe it was perfect timing, really, and it was just kind of like a bet on yourself moment. And I'm really happy that it's working out.
Lossier, who won Mr. Maine basketball his senior year, becomes the third former Mr. Maine basketball in Orono, joining Mark Wood and Edward Little's John Shea. As a Mainer growing up just 20 minutes south of Orono, he's always been a Black Bears fan, and being able to represent the state like this is a dream come true.
Coach Mark Wood bleeds blue just as much as I do. Obviously, he went here, had a great career here, and he's a Maine guy. I think Maine basketball is a super tight-knit community, and I think everyone really likes to support each other. And so being able to, represent the state of Maine, and it's a place I grew up, I've always wanted to be a part of this, so I don't think it would happen at a better time.
Okay, let's stay at UMaine and head over to the Gridiron, where Black Bear football is readying for preseason camp, which starts on Thursday afternoon. The Black Bears are coming off a 2-9 season and 11th-place finish in the CAA. One of the bigger stories was their trouble closing out games, 5 of the Black Bears' losses coming in one-possession games. At the Maine coaches' kickoff luncheon on Monday, head coach Jordan Stevens said that improving on this will come down to being better during non-pressure situations.
Want to be on the other side of a lot of those close games and being better first, second down. We put ourselves in a lot of pressure situations, which is great that we did capitalize on some of those, but the game is winning right in the middle of it, and that's where we have to be better.
Coach Stevens is entering his second year at the helm in Orono, and he's learned a lot, specifically in the area of how to prepare his team. Before the Black Bears kick off against FIU September 2nd, Stevens says the team needs to be ready to play then, and camp is going to be huge in getting to that point.
A better sense of urgency in terms of where we need to be at in terms of a level of play by the time we get to that first game. We can't be in a position where we're trying to figure things out. We have to be ready to play football and compete against FIU. This camp is going to be really important for us to get going, and a lot of things we're doing is getting us going early on.
Staying with Maine football now, one former Black Bear and former Old Town Coyote is on the move in the NFL. Andre Miller, who was originally signed by the Giants in 2022, is headed to Green Bay. Miller was a standout wide receiver at UMaine during his tenure there, also was a standout in high school with Old Town. New York tried to convert him to tight end, but it's reported that the Packers will be lining him up at wide receiver again. During his time in Orono, Miller had 104 catches for over 1,800 yards and 14 touchdowns. Okay, now to some Red Sox news. Trade deadline day in the MLB Tuesday. After weeks of people within the team, including manager Alex Cora and Rafi Devers, publicly saying they needed help, what they got basically equated to nothing. No pitchers, no needle-moving bats, no major league regulars. The only player they picked up was Brewers infield Luis Arias, who hasn't played in a major league game in over a month and is currently batting 146 in AAA. The Sox are in the hunt to pick up that last wild card spot in the AL, are cold right now, and the rest of the division made all sorts of moves. Now would have been a great time to buy, but Chaim Bloom is confident with where the team stands. Okay, let's go to some hockey now. Set to become a free agent this season, former Black Bear and current Bruins goalie Jeremy Swayman and the Bruins have agreed on a one-year contract. Swayman and the Bruins had their arbitration hearing Tuesday, with the judge awarding Swayman a one-year deal worth just under $3.5 million. The former Black Bear superstar had a 24-6-4 record this past year with the Bruins, with a .920 save percentage and 2.27 goals against average. He also started Game 7 for the Bruins in the first round of the playoffs this year, and it looks like the Bees are running it back with he and Linus Ullmark. In his last year at Orono, Swayman posted over 1,000 saves, 18 wins, and a 9.39 save percentage. The Bruins also agreed to terms with Trent Frederick, a 2-year, $2.3 million deal. That's all the time we have for sports. I'm Ryan Sudol. We'll be back right after the break.
Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Rogue makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get a low $349 per month lease on Rogue.
Do you want to improve or upgrade your home? Well, At Home Furniture, Appliance, and Bedding in Lincoln and Dover Foxcroft has got you covered. We pride ourselves in the relationships we build with every customer, from commercial businesses to homeowners. We have some of the best prices on the best brands of appliances, furniture, and mattresses, and we even offer full kitchen and bath remodels with a designer and installers on staff. So stop in today and check us out at one of our locations and see what we can do to make you feel at home.
Ready that home run, son?
Hey, pass me the keys, Rob. I haven't had anything to drink.
Good idea.
We've learned to speak up to prevent drinking and driving. Now let's speak up to prevent texting and driving.
What are you doing, Mommy?
Here, let me do that for you.
So sorry. I don't know what I was thinking.
Speak up. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
Bruno! Pup on the run? No problem. With 5 drive modes, Rogue makes this a walk in the park.
Drive the Nissan Rogue. Now get a low $349 per month lease on Rogue.
Another sweeping recall of cars because of fire risk.
Fox News correspondent CB Cotton has this story and more in your Fox Means Business report.
Kia and Hyundai are recalling more than 3.3 million vehicles here in the U.S. Apparently, a brake fluid leak could cause an electrical short and spark a fire on various models between the years of 2010 and 2019. Owners are now being urged to park outside and away from anything until the potential problem is fixed. And looks like flying is causing stress levels to go sky high. According to new research from Expedia, air travel is a leading cause of stress for 55% of Americans, and they even think it's more daunting than filing taxes or visiting the dentist. A lot of investors were still stressing on Wall Street Wednesday. The markets closed mixed, but there were worries about rising interest rates on bonds and oil soaring to a 13th-month high. And speaking of investments, a majority of Americans aren't confident about the long term. 56% of workers surveyed by Bankrate say they are behind on retirement savings. That's 1% more than last year. That's business. I'm CB Cotton.
I'm with them.
Yeah.
Kind of dreading retirement at
It's
this
hard.
point. Yeah.
A lot of people can't keep up with it. Almost, dare I say, the majority.
Yeah. On the bright side, we've got a sunny day ahead of us.
Right, so go outside and ignore your problems.
Right.
Here's Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Emma, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes. Need the proper fit or experiencing foot pain? Visit us across from Irving and Newport. Already, areas of dense fog developing out there this morning near parts of Bangor, Waterville, and Augusta, and also areas out for the north and west. We're also including parts of Caribou and areas to the south, also including parts of Washington County. Please make sure to take it slow this morning as you do travel. Some good news to report, though. Lots of sunshine will be expected today. There's no clouds overhead, no precipitation either. We have high pressure to thank for that, though, as we do zoom things out with high pressure right nearby. We also have more areas of low pressure down to the south and west and well down to the south as well. With this high pressure center now moving all that much, we will stay dry for the next several days with no precipitation on the way. But otherwise, a beautiful stretch on the way with a lot of sunshine. Get outside, enjoy it. We will have some clouds on the way later on tonight, though, along with some areas of dense fog yet again. The good news, we'll have some sunshine to burn that fog off as we get towards your Friday with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. Maybe a few more clouds on the way as we head towards Friday night and parts of Saturday morning, but overall, looking pretty good as we do move forward. Average high temperature is 66 degrees. We'll do the mid-70s today before we fall into the low 70s Friday, back in the mid-70s Saturday, upper 70s Sunday, back in the mid-70s again Monday, Tuesday, and also near Wednesday, well above normal for this time of the year. Fall foliage, let's check this out, though. Leaves are really changing, though, with 50 to 75% colors already near Bangor, Ellsworth, and Greenville. Millinocket still 25 to 45% coverage, but it will be changing pretty quickly as we do move forward. So let's get outside and enjoy that fall foliage. But mid-70s today, a beautiful day out there with a lot of sunshine. The northwest breeze getting up to around 5 miles per hour or so. Later on tonight, partly cloudy, not bad. Maybe some areas of dense fog yet again. Keep that in mind for tomorrow morning with lows in the mid-40s and south wind getting up to about 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, lower 70s on the way with a partly cloudy sky, and that south breeze getting up to around 5 miles per hour or so. Alrighty, here is looking at extended forecast brought to you by Comfort Shoes, and we're looking dry. Partly cloudy on Saturday with highs in the mid-70s, upper 70s on Sunday with a mostly sunny sky, partly cloudy for the day on Monday with highs in the mid-70s.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the sparks that unite us, to the passions that drive us. We're driven by the things we love. From the visions that lead us, the feelings that inspire us, to the roads that bring us together. Coastal Auto Parts, 29 locations in Maine, will get you to the moments that matter most. With the largest network of parts and care to keep you firing on all cylinders. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Mesothelioma is more than a ravaging illness. It is a disease that can ruin a family's finances and is never the victim's fault. The law offices of Joe Bornstein has been fighting and winning for Maine families for nearly 50 years, and we've collected over $500 million for injured Mainers. If you or a loved one is a victim of mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, call Joe today for a free case evaluation and to learn about your family's legal rights. Dial 207-CALL-JOE or online at joebornstein.com.
Nana's Attic started many years ago for me. When I was a young fellow, I used to go with my grandmother collecting antiques and selling antiques. I went on many trips with Nana as I was fascinated with the world of antiques and the history behind old things. They remind you of days that have gone by, but spark memories of youth and hanging out with loved ones that are no longer with us. Now I've made that dream a reality. First with my Ellsworth Flea Market, and now my own store, Nana's Attic and Then Some, located in the old Olympia Sports in Ellsworth, where you'll find treasures and antiques galore.
Planning to dig in your yard with power tools? Call DigSafe first. Call 811 at least 3 business days before you dig. Utility crews will come out and mark where your gas, power, and cable lines are buried. Keep yourself and your neighborhood safe. It's the law.
20 singles on a beach with one goal.
I want to find my person so badly.
I'm ready to do life with somebody.
Bachelor in Paradise premieres tonight on ABC.
An unusual assignment for police and their canine in New York. Take a look at this. They had to wrangle a herd of goats on Monday. About 30 goats who work for a company clearing brush decided to make a run for it while on the job at a property in New York.
Officers turned to their trusty German Shepherd canine, Pietro, to help get all the goats back in their pen. This was a very different mission for Pietro. He's used to finding hidden narcotics in vehicles and locating missing people. But he completed his mission, guiding the herd across the front yard, through some woods, and back to the field where their pen was located. I bet he liked the break in his day.
Yeah, right. Something a little different for a good shepherd dog.
I know.
Yeah.
I wonder what the goats were for. Like,
yeah, just
lawn
clearing
care?
brush and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. They'll go in and clear all the little ragweeds and stuff like that out of there.
You got to get some of those.
Yeah, I need some goats. They do that on some islands I've seen before. You know, people will take their goats out there, let them clear off the island, and
it makes sense.
Makes them fed, and they don't have to spend a lot of money or burn gas to,
And the goats are hungry, so they're like, okay.
Goats are happy, people are happy. It's a good thing.
That's such a happy little symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Let's end on that note.
Have a great day, everyone.